Hello everyone. This is the follow-up to my son's last video. The last video he did was Walking Dead statues he would like to see from the Telltale Skybound games. So he wanted me to do one with statues I would like to see from the Walking Dead AMC original series. So here it is. Bear with me. I'm not as good in front of a camera as he is. So let's just see. First off, wearing my Walking Dead shirt. Yes. We'll get more into that later. Maybe during honorable mentions, we'll talk some more about that. All right. So the first statue I would like to see, which is similar to my son's list, he mentioned one where he would like to see a statue with a herd of walkers. I don't need to see a whole herd. I would like to see a representation of 6 or 7 of the best works that they did on walkers, ranging from all the series. I know this clip behind me does not work with that. This is actually from season 5, episode 1, I believe. I might be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But we're going to move on from here so we don't get stuck with copyright issues. All right, number 9. I'd like to see, this is from 10 through 6 is not really in a great order, to be honest with you, but I put Judith Grimes as number 9. Not a huge fan of the character yet. There's room to grow there. I do like her conversations with Negan and everything like that, and it's great to see someone who was actually born after this happened and grow up. So it's kind of interesting there. So we'll see how it goes. But this is one of my favorite images of her. All right, moving on. CJ said I had to put some bad guys in here, okay? So the first one, who else? The governor. Okay, we have the governor in here. We have 2 shots of him. One without the eye patch, and what I think is the more iconic one with the eye patch, because that's what everyone thinks of when they see the governor. And you can't see it, but I'm really moving my hands below camera because I talk with my hands, but so maybe it's a good thing. All right. But the governor was one of my favorite villains, especially throughout season 3. Really good. It was interesting to see some more backstory of him when he came back in the later seasons, but season 3 is where everyone thinks of the governor. So we'll leave it there. All right, the next one, Glenn and Maggie. Now, who would not want to see a statue of Glenn and Maggie? I mean, one of the most iconic couples in all the seasons. They met in season 2, and just, it went from there. And it was great to see that, couples can still be romantic and find their soulmate and stuff like that throughout the series. So it was really good. Don't want to do any spoilers in here, so we won't go into what happened to each character. Those who are true fans know what happens, but we don't need to talk about it. But great couple. Moving on. Negan and Lucille. Well, who can talk about Negan and Lucille without having a guest appearance by Lucille? Right? Right. This is Lucille. Those who know. Those who don't need to learn. Negan would teach you. All right. Negan, definitely another villain in the series, but you learn to like him, actually. I mean, so many great one-liners. So many great one-liners. You gotta love it. I personally love him in season 10, taunting Beta. That's my favorite Negan right there. Definitely number 1 on my list. By the way, we got the bat from when CJ and I went on a trip to Senoia, Georgia, to do a tour in Senoia, Georgia, of the filming locations, and we did a tour of the filming locations in Atlanta. Maybe he covered that in a previous video, but hopefully we can do another video in the future where we actually show you some of the photos we took and talk about the good times we had down there.
And another thing I was going to say is maybe physically go over there and do YouTube videos while we're there.
And if we do go back, the off-screen director, CJ, just told me that maybe we can shoot videos while we're there and put them in a YouTube, which I think would be awesome. So I'd love to go back once all this craziness is over with. All right, so moving on. Carol. I mean, such an iconic character. She's the only one I know of that's almost in every single episode from season 1, episode 1, all the way through. So you got to give it to Carol. You have Carol long hair and Carol short hair. I prefer the short haired Carol. She went through the long hair phase when she was at the Kingdom and everything with King Ezekiel. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later too. Trying to keep this kind of short. All right, Carl. Number 4 would be Carl.
Carl.
I mean, he's excellent. I mean, it's Chandler Riggs thumbs up. Excellent job portraying the character from start to finish. I really enjoyed his character. I did not like to see him leave the series. But these photos are not really of Chandler Riggs that we have in the background. These are photos that CJ and I took once again when we went to Senoia. This was a fill-in for Carl, who was at the Woodbury Shoppe and the Walking Dead Museum that they have. So props to them. You need to go check them out. They are excellent, and the characters there are spot on. I don't have Abraham listed as a statue I'd like to see. However, he is in one of these photos. Excellent guy. Fantastic lookalike. Great. All right, so moving on. We're down to number 3 now. Michonne. Michonne. It's Michonne. I'd like to see a statue with her katana and her 2 walkers, similar to the scene that we have up here right now, from the series. Sorry, off camera. Look at CJ. He's doing my film. He's the cameraman today.
Yep.
So he's still here. It's his channel. He's still here directing, producing. Today he's also a cameraman, and he's going to learn video editing too. So I don't have to do it all the time. Anyway, so we're still experimenting with green screen, so bear with us. We're working out the kinks. Thank you for following us. So yeah, number 3, Michonne, the 2 walkers, and you got to have the infamous katana. And a hark back to number 9, Judith Grimes. If you notice, the image we chose had her carrying the smaller katana as well. So little, mother-daughter thing going on there. All right, number 2. CJ and I went back and forth about this. Okay, I wanted to see Rick in his classic sheriff's uniform, pointing his gun, a little bit of action scene. CJ thought it should have been the later version of Rick with the iconic leather jacket where you can see the fleece lining on the inside. So we included both. Who knows if we get a lot of likes, we get a lot of comments, maybe we'll do a part 2 to this. We can compare his favorites to my favorites from both the game and the TV series. So we'll have to see how it goes.
And
so
maybe we'll
thumbs up, comment, please.
And maybe we'll do a sequel based off the TV show or the video game if you guys want.
Exactly. We can do a sequel off the video game or the TV series and talk about them both. Hopefully we can move this into a 3-man production where we have someone actually shooting the camera, and CJ and I can both be up here at the time. But, we're just starting out. All right. So that's number 2. Before we get to number 1, let's do some honorable mentions. CJ wanted me to make sure I've talked about Ezekiel and Jesus. If we did one with Ezekiel, it's got to be with his pet. I mean, my gosh, who wouldn't want a pet tiger? So I think a statue with a pet tiger and Ezekiel would be fantastic. Jesus, he's definitely a classic character. I would have liked to have seen him on the series a lot longer than what he did last. But since he's in the game, CJ thought it would be a nice crossover talk between Jesus in the TV series and Jesus in the game. Once again, that could be a later video. Comment, let us know if you'd like to see it, and give us a thumbs up. All right. Another honorable mention. Merle. Why? Because it's Michael Rooker.
And also,
who wouldn't want to see Michael Rooker on a statue from The Walking Dead? I mean, he's Daryl's brother. He's a little bit of a pain in the butt for the scenes he was in for the most part, but he's Michael Rooker. Come on.
And also, when we were in Georgia, fun fact, a week beforehand, Michael Rooker was there.
Yes, the actual tour that we went on in Senoia, Georgia, the tour guide was telling us that Michael Rooker was in town the week before. We missed it by a week. But he was actually in town, and he got onto the tour bus with them, shook everyone's hands. So thumbs up to Michael Rooker. And we will put a link to the tour company that we used in the link below. So look for that. If you go to Senoia, Georgia, look them up. They are awesome people. And also really good stuff.
And also check out the Walking Dead store. Great store, by the way.
The Woodbury Shoppe, which is the Walking Dead store in Senoia, Georgia. We're going to do a whole nother video on them later and tell you all about our experience in Senoia, Georgia. I think the director and the owner of this channel, CJ, just decided we're going to do another video talking about Senoia, Georgia. Because there's so much to cover, I can't do it all now. So moving on with our list. Number 1. Now, who's the one character that's iconic that I haven't mentioned? Yes, you were right. It's Daryl. I mean, the story may be about Rick, but let's be honest, he's been off a few episodes. So really, I mean, Daryl wasn't even supposed to be a character in the TV series.
As well as Michael Rooker's.
He was written in, for the TV series. So what does that tell you about Norman Reedus? But the statue I'd like to see would be one leaning against his motorcycle with his crossbow on his back and dog right next to him. You know, I liked him with shorter hair, but the classic Daryl has longer hair. But anyway, we won't go much further because this video is getting kind of long in length, and we're trying to keep it short. But make your comments below. Make sure you give us a like. Hit the subscribe button so you know when my son comes out with new content. And we're going to leave it from there, and we hope to hear from you. And the message my son made at his last video, make sure you wash your hands, take care of yourself during this time period, and let's try to stop the spread of this as much as we can. And we thank you for following us, and we look forward to it. Thank you very much.